Rude baby not giving it up.
Assembly drafted a press release, and that same press release was published in the, I think it was in the Nation and the Standard. That press release, my lords and my lady, was for extension, my lord, of the first stage, not a new stage. If you look at the affidavit of Jen Jeremiah, that would be in JNM 2. If I can find it, 1 second. This advertisement is on page 14 of the annexures to JNM 2. It reads, notification of extension of public participation. My lord, purportedly in compliance with the orders of the Honorable Justice Mwongo, the clerk of the National Assembly decided, no, we will not do a repeat exercise. We will simply add 1 day to the exercise that is already ongoing, which the Honorable Court already has issues with and has issued directions in regard to, and instead we will just extend it. And what does this gazette, this advertisement do, my lords? It does not, this time round, even bother to provide the grounds in which the motion seeks. It does not bother to include pullouts. It does not bother to make any attempt to provide any information, and simply makes the assumption that anybody that this advertisement is directed at will know what to do. It does not provide any venues and simply states there will be public participation at the constituency level. In the first, second, and third advertisements, there were 47 venues for the counties, specific venues. For example, Tononoka Social Hall for Mombasa, Kwale Cultural Center. They were very specific. But for the 290 constituencies, absolutely nothing. My lords, to compound the problem, the clerk and the National Assembly were clear in their minds that what would be required by the public in regard to sensitization and information should be provided. So what do? At the bottom of the advertisement, they provide a link to what they call the template. It is a link, and this is to the template. But at the bottom, in regard to the notice of motion, any evidence, and all the documents that they rely on, they provide at paragraph 5 of that advertisement that copies, and I'll read verbatim, copies of the special motion stating the grounds for removal and particulars of the allegations, together with the relevant documents, may be downloaded from the Parliament website. That is all. Telling Kenyans that you are invited to participate in this impeachment process, the evidence that you need to look at, the grounds that you need to look at, all the information that you require is on some website. We know that you will need this information, but you go look for it yourselves. It does not say that we will provide the information for you at the venues, and no proof has been filed in court to show that at any of the venues where public participation took place were the notice of motion and all documents pertaining and all particulars ever provided at the venues. That, my lord, is the failure of the Gazette notice itself. Then, my lords, if we look at the pullouts, what has been termed as the templates, you will find one of the pullouts, if we look at page 235 of the annexures filed on behalf of the second and seventh respondents, again in the affidavit of Mr. Njoroge. I will be speaking to the affidavits in these, the annexures in this particular affidavit. My lords, if you look at this template, what is being called a template? It is purportedly a template to collect views. A template to collect views. My lords, from our understanding of what a template is supposed to be, is that somebody will take a template and then convert it for specific use. This is no template. My lords, if you look at it, it is nothing but a ballot paper. This ballot paper, being called a template, asks the people who will use it to make an election on a specific motion and on specific grounds, 11 of them. Paragraph 6 of this ballot, my lords, asks, what are your views on the motion? And tick, what is your vote? It is not a view. Do you support? Do you not support? And other, specify. This is a ballot question. It is not a view. Each of the 7 grounds provided from paragraph number 7 does exactly the same thing for each of the grounds. For the grounds themselves, no information is provided that could help my grandmother in Kimoro village, Nandi County, to understand what gross violation of Article 10(2)(a) is. It is an absolute impossibility. If she was to make that tick, it would not be based on any information. Why? She was never sensitized. She would not understand what she is taking in this ballot. And we will keep insisting that it is a ballot. My lords and my lady, and it is important that we note, at the end of this ballot paper is a date, and that date is important because there was a purported public participation exercise on 4th of October and another on the 5th of October. So we assume that for every form that was returned, it was signed and there was a date. There was a batch for 4th of October and there was a separate batch for 8th of October. And this will become important when we move to the report from Parliament on public participation. My Lord, I would like to make a note on the public announcement on second made by Parliament on their social media. You will find it at page 239 and 240 of the annexures of Mr. Njoroge. And it shows that on page 239 that what they called as notification to the public received 125 comments, 19 shares, 203 likes. The penetration was close to 0. On page 240, I guess they decided to clip that out. Did not want to show it. So then, my lords, we've walked through the process itself on public notice and the template, the ballot paper that was used to gather views. So then, my lords, we move to the report itself. This report is a report that is supposed to show that indeed there was public participation that occurred. The bulk of the report that has been filed in court is pictures from 290 counties. And those pictures, I think, begin from page 296 of the affidavits that I refer to, Njoroge, and starts with the pictures and information from Ainabkwe constituency. And this, my lords, is where it becomes clear on what this exercise really was. For Ainabkwe constituency, at paragraph 61 of this report, it states that the public participation exercise took place at Ainabkwe NGCDP office. A total of 959 members of the public took part in the exercise. Of this, 808 persons indicated that they supported the motion, while 133 persons did not support the motion. Further, 18 persons expressed other views with regard to the special motion. Obviously, my lords and my lady, I did not belabor the point, but 808 persons indicating that they support is a vote. It is not a submission. But what is more telling is that the public participation exercise took place at Ainabkwe NG CDP office. You were not told when this happened. Was it on 4th? Because if it was on 4th, there was definitely no public participation at Ainabkwe. Was it on 5th? There is a possibility it would have been on 5th. But we are not told. From the report that you will see at table 2, actually table 3 of the National Assembly data, that table starts from page 436 of the annexures, which is a combined tally of all constituencies. You hear absolutely nothing about views collected at KICC, views collected at Bomas of Kenya, views collected in any of the 47 venues. All you will read is from number 1, Ainabkwe constituency, 970. Ainamoy, 756. On and on until the very last one, with the total being shown here, being 224,877 votes. None of them tell you when these views were collected. And this is the only evidence placed before you to show that public participation took place. A table that is unverifiable, a table that is unreliable. And my lords, this unreliability is deeper than just these numbers shown on this table. There were 11 grounds. You have not been told or shown how many people supported ground one. Gross violation of Article 10 2A(b). Of the people that supported the motion, if they actually understood what they were doing, how many people supported ground one? That information is not provided. We say because the information is not available. If it was, it would be before you. How many people supported ground two on Article 147? How many people supported any of the 11 grounds? My lords, you're not told this. Yet this is supposed to be the result of public participation in an impeachment process, and all you have received is ballot numbers, a count, no views at all. You are not told that in Ainab Koi, we had discussion and were submissions, and one or two people, or none, stood up and said something. Absolutely nothing. My lords, those pictures that you will see show absolutely nothing but an election in makeshift ballot offices. My lord, if you look at page of the report again, going back to the report, and this should, page 286 of the report, consider this statement made at paragraph 58, page 286. It reads, and I need to repeat this, read this verbatim. At the close of the period for public participation as extended, a total of 38,065 submissions were received. And at A, via email, 7,106 submissions were made. Hand-delivered, 30,955. My lords, public participation ended approximately, let's say, 5 p.m. on 4th. Same time on 5th. Somehow, my lords and my lady, and this should make it clear that the information being provided to you is garbage. 30,000 Kenyans somehow walked into the National Assembly to deliver submissions to the clerk. My lords, even if each of these 30,000 Kenyans took 1 minute, just 1 minute, that would be 30,000 minutes. That is how long it would take. 30,000 minutes. Even with multiple clerks handling, it would be a total of 7 days to process that kind of bulk input. The only inference that can be drawn from these numbers, 30,955, it is fiction, as the rest of the tables are absolute fiction. My lords, from those numbers, from that information, it is clear that all we had was a count, a ballot, and unverifiable at that. So what is supposed to have happened with this information if indeed it was public participation and should have been considered by the National Assembly? I will direct you, my lords, to the Hansard, which is from page 1078. That's the Hansard starting in the morning at 9:15 a.m. for the morning session, and from page 1137 to starting at 2:30 p.m. My lords, I've made a summary because this is approximately 160 pages, and I'm sure you don't want me to walk through each of those pages. So instead, this summary, or rather the Hansard, provides the proof that even if something happened out there, the purpose of public participation should be that Parliament will consider the views of the public. Even if they disagree in the end, they must be considered. What did Parliament do? What actually happened in Parliament? My lords and my lady, at about 9:30 a.m. on 8th of October, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo tabled the report, the public participation report. This is the first time it has moved from committee, coming to Parliament for consumption. It is tabled at 9:30. My lords and my lady, what happens immediately after that? The motion is moved, and away we go. The report has not been considered. Debate, the motion is moved, debate starts immediately. The Honorable Millie Odhiambo is advised that she would have 15 minutes sometime during the day to speak to the report of the Committee on Public Participation. By the time she gets to speak to that report, 21 members of Parliament have already spoken without having had anything. In the afternoon, all the other members of Parliament, the honorable members, participate. And in total, the participation from them is 66 members speak, either in support or in opposition. And as you can see, the petitioner is at number 58 of that graph, and she opposes. But the damning evidence from this summary and the whole Hansard, my lord and my lady, is that of all 66 members that participate, all 66, only nine members mention public participation or the views from their constituents. A whole day. Not any mention of the views from Mombasa County, from Kakamega County. Nothing. And the reason being, and it is rather obvious, that report sat on the table of Parliament with nobody touching it. Nobody looked at it. Nobody knew what its contents were. They had absolutely no opportunity to participate with it. My lords, I would like to leave it there. But in the end, if there ever was this exercise is a dead ringer for the concept of GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. My colleague, Mr. Nderitu, will handle the prayers. And as I said before, I donate my 30 minutes to Mr. Kibi.